Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're back here talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. 7 straight victories. Huge game. Monday Night Football at home against the Buffalo Bills. Fighting for seeding. Finish off the season against the Baltimore Ravens, who they're actually projected to play Baltimore right now in the playoffs, which I personally would have no issues with. I know Baltimore is kind of one of those teams that, Lamar's been injured. They've really only lost a handful of games by a handful of points. They have a talented defense, but Lamar in the playoffs, the Ravens in the playoffs, I still feel good if Cincinnati were to match up with them in week 1. I don't think it's that likely Cincinnati gets that 1 seed because you got to worry about Kansas City, you got to worry about Buffalo. If you take care of the wins, though, you never know. You might get it. So today, I want to talk about a couple of different things, and I touched on in my last Bengals video, which, by the way, if you guys are new here, be sure to hit the like button, hit that sub button. Let's try and get 1,000 likes on today's video. I was actually thinking about, because I did this a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't reach the goal. I was thinking about if we got 1,000 likes on today's video, I was going to go buy a Bengals jersey for this playoff run because they're still my selection to get to the Super Bowl, regardless of how the regular season shapes out. And I kind of agree a lot with Zach Taylor this past week. He was saying, because first things first, it's not easy winning in Foxborough. I don't care if Tom Brady's quarterback. I don't care if Mac Jones is the quarterback. When you're playing Bill Belichick, you're playing in New England, it's not an easy victory. Week before that, horrible first half. Nothing was going in their favor until the last drive of the first half. They took down Tampa Bay, a very talented defense. Got a gritty victory against Cleveland the week before. An extremely awesome win against Kansas City before that. Took down Tennessee. They're winning these games. Some games are closer than others. Some games aren't all that close, but the stat sheet makes it seem close. Personally, Cincinnati 22-18, that game could have been a lot more in the Bengals' favor. But Zach Taylor was basically pointing out how playing in games like this and coming away with the victory in these gritty-esque games on the road where the weather isn't perfect, things aren't going your way, you're not getting the penalty calls, you're getting gypped a little bit, just things aren't going your way, and you come out with a victory that could play dividends in the playoffs. And I definitely agree with that statement, and a lot has to do with this defense. We'll talk about the offense a little later on in the video. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. It's a phenomenal offense. But defensively, they have climbed back into the top 10 in the NFL in defensive rating, and they're pretty loaded, man. And even if they're still dealing with injuries, every team's going to deal with injuries. And every Super Bowl team ever is going to deal with injuries. It just comes down to, can you still make the plays? Who's filling in? Can whoever's filling in replace them? Can he make plays? Can he provide this jolt? And even depth guys, I got a stat here with Trey Flowers. He's played in limited snaps all season pretty much, but especially these last 2 weeks, he's been perfect. 91.9 PFF grade, 92 coverage grade, 0 receptions allowed, 1 interception, 1 forced incompletion, and a 0.0 passer rating allowed. Guys are stepping up. And you still have studs, right? Hopefully Sam Hubbard comes back relatively quickly. Trey's nursing a broken wrist. DJ Reader this season, 88.7 PFF grade, 6th among defensive linemen. 82.7 pass rush grade, good for 6th. 76.4 run defense grade, good for 9th. This past week, I feel like, guys like Von Bell really stepping up. Von Bell's having a phenomenal season. What's he got? 4 picks on the season. Von Bell, guys were, it's hard to explain. A lot of you guys watch this game, though, so, flashback to the last possession of that game against New England where, once again, things just weren't going the Bengals' way. It's not really like they were playing bad football. Things just weren't going their way. Their defense was having a phenomenal game. And it's late in the game. You're down to the 2-minute warning, and New England has the ball right up on the red zone. And you force a turnover. I mean, it's just stuff like that where having all these names on defense, and they're not necessarily huge names, although there are some great names, which we'll talk about in just a second. Guys all across the depth chart are just making plays. it's just, I know it sounds redundant, but when your defense can step up and force a turnover when you desperately need a stop, when you desperately need a turnover, you're trying to not allow the touchdown, you come away with the ball. I mean, that stuff builds. That is just the perfect momentum. It's just perfect. Here are the highest graded linebackers since week 14. Number 4, Jermaine Pratt, 81.9. Number 7, Logan Wilson, 79.4. These are the only pair of teammates in the top 10 during that stretch. For some reason, the odds, the Ravens still have pretty decent odds to win the AFC North. I'm not quite catching that drift here. We'll touch on that to end the video. I want to talk about real quick because Andrew Whitworth, who a lot of Bengals fans have been loving the idea of him coming back. I can't blame you. He's a superstar stud. Coming out of retirement, he said he's open to it. He said he won't say no. I mean, it's food for thought. But regardless, since we're talking about injuries, Hakeem Ndiji last year played out of position, played at the guard spot. He's a right tackle. So he won the backup right tackle spot in camp. And I have this quote here because when he won it, he's received the first team reps every Wednesday of the season while Al Collins took veteran rest days, something he says has helped with the all-important chemistry building. So he's back to his natural position. He has reps not only from last year but also from this year in practices every single week. Got Alex Kappa right there. They have this chemistry he was talking about in a quote. Whether it's Whitworth, whether it's Hakeem, whatever happens, losing a right tackle, to me, I just need them to do their job. And they'll be perfect. They'll be perfectly fine. Joe Burrow, as of late especially, this offensive line from the start of the season to now, I mean, it's worldly different. It's worldly different how much more effective they have been since the first couple of games of the season. So that goes back to my original point of guys are just going to step up. Guys have been stepping up all season. I don't see any reason why that would change. Now, talking about seeding here, I have this tweet here from Joe Goodberry. This is actually from Christmas Day. The Bengals' most likely postseason opponent is the Ravens, either hosting them or going to Baltimore. All I say with the Bengals is because I'm not, there's 2 weeks left of the season. I get it. Week and a half left, technically. I get it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not thinking about it no matter what. Let the matchups match up with whatever. That's just not my problem. The Miami Dolphins also, they've been suffering. The wild card position in the AFC, which is crazy because from a couple of weeks ago it was looking pretty talented. Right now it looks pretty measly. It looks pretty measly. So whether it's the Chargers, whether it's the Ravens, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's the Jets, the Bengals will deal with that when the time comes. This is still, at the end of the day, one of the top 2 hottest teams in the National Football League, either number 1 or 2, right there with San Francisco. You've won 7 straight games. You're taking down Super Bowl caliber opponents. You're playing elite top 5, top 10 level defenses. That's only going to continue with Baltimore and Buffalo to finish off the season. If you can win, just focus on the week. Let everything else take its course. Deal with it when it comes, just like injuries. So I'm not speculating too much on the playoff opponent and whatever it's going to be. If Cincinnati's going to get the 1 seed, whatever it is, I'll let just the cards fall. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll definitely post another Bengals video before the game on Monday night, so stay tuned for that. Let me know down below in the comments section what you guys are feeling about everything in this video, how you guys are feeling for this Bills game, for the Ravens game heading into the playoffs. Does seeding matter to you? Do you want to play Baltimore? Do you not want to play Baltimore? Does it not matter to you? Let me know.